The lesson read was Matthew 27. Verse 32 to 38.
Yes.
Simon by name, him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they had come to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, place of skull, they gave him sour wine mingled with gall to drink. But when he had tasted it, he would not drink. Then they crucified him and divided his garments, casting lots that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They divided my garments amongst them, and for my clothing they cast lots. Sitting down, they kept watch over him there, and they put up over his head the accusation written against him. This is Jesus, King of the Jews. Then two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and another on the left.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
They crucified him. After being judged and condemned, he was taken out. In the process of his being judged, in the last 4-5 verses before, from verse 27.
Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into
They
the
took
praetorium,
him, yes,
and gathered the whole garrison around him.
they gathered all the soldiers around him.
And they stripped him and put.
Look at the process of the judgment, the punishment for the judgment, yes,
They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him.
yes,
When they had twisted a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews." Then they spat on him and took the reed and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they took the robe off him, put his own clothes on him, and led him away to be crucified.
You see it. They mocked him. They exercised some punishments on him. He left the judgment. He left from judgment. He left from prison. Isaiah said he left from prison. In that 53. Isaiah 53. He left from prison. From verse 8.
He was taken from prison.
He left from prison.
And from judgment.
And from judgment.
And who will declare his generation?
Who will talk about him? Somebody asked me, can somebody name his son Judas? They cannot name people Jesus. Who would declare, who wants to be affiliated with him?
For he was cut off from the land of the living.
He was cut off from the land of the living.
For the transgressions of my people he was
Because
stricken.
of our transgression, he was stricken.
And they made his grave with the wicked.
His grave in death. That lesson told us that they crucified him with 2 thieves. He made his grave with the wicked.
But with the rich at his death.
You see it. But he was buried in the rich man's grave.
Because he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth.
What is the picture of this one? They forced somebody as they went out. They saw somebody The line has it that that person was coming into Jerusalem. They were getting out of Jerusalem. They saw that person and compelled him to turn his direction. This journey is a journey that compels everyone to turn in your direction, to be yoked with him. This was the man. Barabbas once said that God paid, Celestia was God's due for Africa because of Simon of Cyrene. During one of the question and answers of this day, he once said God has to pay for Africa because Simon of Cyrene, Africa has Cyrene, was compelled to be yoked with him. And God decided, I will pay Africa yet once again. He brought Celestia as his payment of his due. We were joined with him in the journey of the cross. Did you see the line? The man was compelled. He was coming into Jerusalem to do something. He came for like people travel to Jerusalem now. But they were taken out, they want to be crucified. And he told these people, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. But nobody took his yoke with him. We became a burden bearer in that Simon that was compelled. And then we journeyed with him unto the place called Golgotha, the place of the skull, the place of the dead head, the place of the cursed head. You have the head when you are alive. You have the skull in death. Golgotha, the place of the cursed heads. Níbi àwọn oríta fìbú wọ́n ti di egungun lásán. Ọlọ́run wa, God decided to push Africa with him. Because God was saying, if the cross has the place of the blood, God paid back by instituting Celestial Church by the power of the blood. So much, many mysteries in this journey. They compelled him to walk against his journey. They compelled him to move against his mind. Made him to bear the burden with Christ, with Jesus. So that he will come to the place of the cursed head. Even that place that became the place of the redeemed. Paul said, where they sink abounded. Romans chapter 6. He said there, grace abound much more. Romans chapter 6. Read from verse 19.
I speak in human terms because of the weakness of your flesh. For just as you presented your members as slaves of uncleanness and of lawlessness, leading to more lawlessness, so now present your members as
Don't check chapter 5 this time. That 19. Let me see.
For as one man's
Uh-huh.
disobedience,
As by one man's disobedience,
many were made sinners.
many became sinners.
So also by one man's obedience,
One man's obedience,
many will be made righteous.
good,
Moreover, the law entered that the offense might abound.
that law entered that sin, the offense might abound.
But where sin abounded,
Where sin abounds,
grace abounded much more.
wow, much more. This is the death of the Lamb of God that was exceeding abundantly and above the measure of all that God created. Where sin abounded, where offenses abounded, where curses, where judgment, where punishment, the place of the skull, the place of judgment, the place of punishment, the place of condemnation, the place of the display of the offense. Where sin abounds, he said, grace,
Abounded much more.
the blood came and was over and abundant. There was a super display of the ability of God in the place of the skull. Imagine, after that he was pierced through, they say blood and water gushed out, and lo, something happened. The dead came to life. The people of the skull, they came to life. Grace abound much more. The ability of God came. He has spoken, I will do this, and he poured something out, and grace abound beyond measure. They brought him to Golgotha. But what was the concern of the soldiers? This is garment. It's a very beautiful one. Who will take it? They were looking for what is not lost. That garment can hold before death. It would not go into after death. Because at resurrection, the garment was done away with. A new garment was given. The potency of that garment does not extend beyond death. The power in that garment they were looking for, it's not as beautiful as the power in the garment of resurrection. So they began to cast lots. Whose will it be? They were not concerned about the one that was hung. We hanged him because he was an offender, so that they would justify their mind. They put the accusation on him. Jesus, who says he is the king. They put it there, Jesus, the king of the Jews. The Jews came and said, don't say that. John chapter 19. They came to Pilate. Why would you say such a thing? He's not our king. Let's see. John chapter 19. From verse 17. No, from verse 19.
Now Pilate wrote the title and put it on the cross.
He wrote, yes.
And the writing was, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews.
Yes.
Then many of the Jews read this title, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city.
Yes.
And it was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
You see, Pilate wrote it in 3 languages.
Therefore, the chief priests of the Jews said to Pilate,
They said to Pilate,
do not write the King of the Jews.
don't write the king of the Jews.
But he said,
Write that he said.
I am the King of the Jews.
He said, Jesus, this is Jesus, who said, I am the king of the Jews. Pilate said, yes.
Pilate answered, what I have written.
This is
I
God
have
playing a game. What I have written. You say he said. You never know what I saw in my room. You didn't know the vision of my wife. That is your king. You would rather have him dead so that we can enslave him. what I have written, I will not change. And that is the attitude of the kings. When they say anything or they write anything, it remains potent as long as there is no changing. In your certificate, they wrote it there. If you alter anything there, it becomes invalid. Right there, you don't say he is the king or he's not our king. That is your cup of tea. I should write, he says. Don't worry, he didn't tell me, you accused him to me. You told me he said so. I am not in for this nonsense. Whatever I have written, that is what I want to hear. He sat down. They divided his thoughts. They put his accusation that he is the king of the Jews. He became the king from Sunday. So do you remember? Yes. Rejoice greatly. Yes. Your king. He came in as their king. The Jews freely acknowledged him as their king. Although they became influenced and incited to say crucify him. And all these things were working so that that which God has written. I believe at this time you should be thinking and talking of God, whatever you have written. Work it out in my life. This is the time when the handwriting of the Lord is made obvious and bogus. This is the time when what God wrote as touching your lives comes to form. It comes to the open. Who did he say you are? You can only find the grace to search it out now. At this time, the Israelites were made the firstborn, the sons of God. He said, Israel is my son, my firstborn. Living after Passover. You see, just that last night. Yes. After Passover. This morning, from last night till this morning, they were leaving Egypt. Isn't it? Yes. And the same goes with this man. What God wrote as touching them back then was brought to form. He remembered his handwriting from Abraham, and he brought it to fulfillment. I have said there, yes?
Then you shall say to Pharaoh.
Say to Pharaoh.
Thus says the Lord.
He said,
Israel is my son.
Israel is my son.
My firstborn.
Oh my God, the son of God. Being the ransom for the sons of the Father. Did you see it? Yes. God wrote that. And God played the game of fulfillment. To say, I will bring to light that which I have spoken. Jesus, the King of the Jews. He said, don't say that. Come and say, he said he is our King. We did not admit him. They want to. They were playing political game. We didn't agree that he's our king. Because Herod is our king. They want to play loyalty to Caesar, to Herod. We know Herod is our king, but Caiaphas was the high priest. Caiaphas and Herod were not in good terms. You see. But for the situation at hand, they must be friends. Because of the situation at hand. So that which God has said concerning you will come to pass. those your enemies must become friends. Did you get what I said?
Yes.
The enemies will conspire, they will come together in order to become friends. They form a league. Why? When you see enemies coming together to become friends on your matter or on anybody's matter, be sure there is an handwriting of the Lord that is coming to life. The last one said what?
Then two robbers were crucified with him.
They put two robbers with him.
One on the right and another on the left.
Jesus died not alone. That's why I told you. That Henry you see separated the crosses. They freed one robber. Maybe you know.
Yes.
But they say the devil looked at that thing, he will give this man his fame. Add two people, so he is joined with the robbers. Join him. But for the handwriting yet of Pilate that separated his place from amongst the robbers. If Pilate has conceded to the Jews to say, he said he is the king of the Jews, he will be qualified as a robber. Did you see? But Pilate said, well, I have written what I want to write, and I'm not going back on that. And they could not influence his decision. So they sat and groaned amongst themselves. This is what were they doing? That John chapter 19. When they told Pilate,
then the soldiers, Pilate answered, what I have written. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Jesus, took his garments and made four parts.
As soon as Pilate said that, they were dispersed, because they know they have no power to influence what he said or what he has written. But more to it, he was crucified with the robbers. When the word of God, the handwriting of God is coming to fall, you will be aligned with the offender. They will bring out a lot of things about you. I tell you, be sure you walk with God. Because whatever they say will come to become your glory, will turn out for your glory. They joined him. We had to crucify thieves. Crucify him. He was to be crucified. Don't crucify him alone. Add people to him. Who should I add? Add thieves. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
God paying Africa the price. The payment of God was Celestial Church. Look at the way we are doing that God's precious coin that he dropped in Africa to say, if you will be joined in the yoke to the cross, I'll give you this for your salvation. God paid. While we were compelled, there was a price given to the compulsion given put on us. There was a price for us agreeing to take his yoke by compulsion. Look at the way we are addressing the price. Look at what we are doing. If this is God's coin, no wonder Papa said Celestia is 2 coins. God's payment. What was before? 1 coin. If God had to pay 2 to Africa, double for your sin, did he say so?
Yes.
He first paid 1. And he saw the approach of man. He said, no problem. I promise double. Like he first made male and female. And I said, no problem. I promise to make back. If you are part of the double, check yourself critically. Are you operating in the light of the double?
Return to your stronghold, prisoners of hope. Even today I declare that I will restore double to you.
I will restore double.
Zechariah 9 verse 4.
God gave 2. He paid. If this was a way of God appreciating our effort, even though it was by compulsion, are we in return appreciating God's payments? Ẹ jẹ́ Kristi Jésù iyebíye. Fẹ́ni tó bá gbàgbọ́ tó ṣe bọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìjọba. And guess what? That ẹ̀jẹ̀ iyebíye has a power in it. Ọlọ́run ò gbé sẹ̀rẹ̀ kalẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù. God did not put sẹ̀lẹ̀ on the blood of Jesus. Sẹ̀lẹ̀ was placed on the power in the blood. Did you see it?
Yes.
The blood is for all, but the power is for the elect. Agbára ń bẹ nínú Jésù. Agbára ń bẹ nínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ ọ̀dọ́. Ó ń bẹ nínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù. Agbára yẹn, that power. The blood is for all. Tó mú ìràpadà wá fáráyé. Check in your life. Are you due for God's payment? Are you due in His payment? Is His payment really working in your life? If it was God's payment, what are you looking for? What are you looking at? What is your vision about your life? Think now and take a new step, so that in all things, that which was said concerning you will be brought to forth. May God help us.
Amen.